Hello friends, those back pages here. I hope you're well. Well, in the current issue of SMR, Sports Market Report, which is PSA's free monthly magazine for people that are part of the membership, and they will give a bunch of them away at the show. They did at Comic-Con, at San Diego Comic-Con, and they will in Chicago next week. So obviously, if you're going, you'll be able to pick one up. We're going to do a lot of SLABGATE talk here, so if that's what you're here for, fantastic. I did get in a piece of mail today that I'm going to show off probably later. But Joe Orlando, the COO, I believe he is now, of Collectors Universe, used to be of PSA, but he's moved up the umbrella of the coins and the cards, everything. He does a monthly little blurb, a little write-up in each issue of SMR, usually at the beginning. His hobby take or something. I don't have the issue. I don't have it, but somebody on Blowout posted what he wrote, and it's kind of infuriating, so I'm going to go ahead and read it. So excuse me if, I selected green for the note color. Let's see if a different, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to read you this note, this article or column. I guess column is a good word for it. So I've only read it a couple times, so excuse me if I stumble a little bit. Here we go. Today, I am the president and CEO of PSA's parent company, and I do not agree with every card, autograph, or bat grade issued. And that's okay. As a collector, I don't have to. Why? Because I don't have to buy it. We have choices, which is part of what makes collecting so much fun. As an individual, I am entitled to an opinion. As an individual, I am entitled to an opinion too, and it's okay if my personal standards differs from a third-party service. Their job isn't to confirm my opinion, it's to render their own. Like most other industries, ours contains a fraction of people who choose to do nothing more than complain about how third-party systems are imperfect instead of offering feasible or logical ways of making it better. Their expectation of human-based opinion services is simply unattainable. There are realities and limitations to what any third-party service can do. If it were up to them, there would be no umpires in baseball either, because these men don't get every ball and strike call correct. Card and coin graders, like umpires, must make decisions repeatedly in a relatively short period of time. They do the best job they can, but like all people, they are not perfect. They can only judge what they see in front of them and interpret what their eyes are observing. Grading is not conducted in a science lab. It is simply humans looking at collectibles. The train left the station a long time ago. You can choose to get on board and take the ride, which can occasionally get bumpy along the way, or get left behind with the delusions that somehow returning to the Wild West of the 1980s is better than what collectors have today. If you prefer to collect raw cards, that's okay. There are many ways to enjoy our wonderful hobby. In the meantime, the beat goes on. After 20 years at the company and a lifetime in this hobby, there are a few things that I know. There will always be challenges that our hobby will have to face, and unfortunately, there will be those who choose to spread fear and ignorance. For those of us who love the hobby, there will always be opportunities to improve it by engaging in civil discourse. More importantly, third-party authentication and grading is here to stay. It makes the hobby better, even though no system will ever be perfect. Never get cheated. Joe Orlando. He closes every column with that, never get cheated. And for a long time, that was pretty feasible. It was pretty feasible for a long time. But with every passing day, new stuff comes to light. Every single day, new examples get posted. Now, of course, these guys that are BOTA, Blowout Detective Agency, I've never been able to pin them down for a number. Obviously, not every slab they look at is going to be wrong. But the examples they're showing on a daily basis, we're talking thousands, we're talking we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, actually probably over $1 million at this point. Excuse me. Today on one of the threads, on the main Mickey Mantle thread that is pretty much everyone should be reading if you're interested in this type of thing. They some mayo, cut plugs, mayo from the 1800s, Cap Anson's in it. Another fairly expensive card. They've gone from altered and PSA altered holders into a mid-grade holder. I think 4 or 5. I don't remember exactly. The one that stood out right before I stopped reading and decided to set up and make this video, which I wasn't even going to make until I read that column, which infuriated me. Babe Ruth 33 Gaudy 144, the swinging bat on the mound, my favorite one I actually own a copy of. They went from an altered, and it showed somebody erased in the grass there was some pencil mark or whatever. Somebody had taken an eraser and erased it years ago or whenever and had it graded authentic. And now it's in a 2.5 or something. It's in a graded holder, and you can see the marking was removed, and the grass infieldish was rebuilt essentially. Made to look like grass again, like a hole. And if you look closely at it, it's not matching. It's not what. That's my main thing. What are these guys doing? What are they looking at? Are they measuring cards? I understand the variance of size and everything else, but in that column, well, they're humans, they make mistakes. Yeah, but slow down. The umpire analogy is horrible. You have a split second for the umpire analogy. And then the next pitch comes. I mean, these people that are doing the grading, we don't know who they are. We don't see them. They're nameless. They're faceless. The CEO and everyone else is plastered all over the website, pictures, smiling, bios. And that's just PSA. BGS is the same thing, and SGC is the same thing. But why can't we see who these people are? Why must there be curtains set up at the show? Oh, you can't look back there. You can't look back there. They're grading back there. Who cares if they're grading back there? And we all know they're grading back there. We just don't know who they are. We don't know their qualifications. We don't know if they've been grading cards for 5 years or 5 weeks. or 50 years. We don't know. Why don't we know? We need to know. We need some transparency, guys. We need some transparency. We deserve it. We love this hobby. We do. I know, more fodder for people that hate graded cars. I get it. I get it. Go ahead and make your comments. Whatever you want to do. Yo, I told you, grading is a scam. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. That's fine. And I guess to some extent, maybe it is. But we need third-party grading. Because I'll agree, it is better than the 80s. And the 90s. So I got in a card in the mail today that I put off buying for a long time, and I shouldn't have. Should have bought it last winter. When I bought my foil version was $10. Nobody cared. And that's Cody Bellinger. The Topps Update Gold in the PSA 9. You know, I can't stress enough, guys, buy the card, not the grade. PSA 9s are 33% the price of a 10 or more, cheaper. You know, I was talking to my friend Greg just tonight. PSA 10 Griffey's $400, $450. A 9 is $75. It was $50 for a long time. $75. It's $450 versus $75 for someone's opinion, essentially, and that's fine. And I love, and I still will collect graded cards, but maybe it's time to look at them differently. It's a good, and I've tried to come up with this word, not venue, carrier or something. It's a good way to get a card from point A to point B to point C, or however many steps you want to look at it. Person selling it on eBay, listing it, you buying it, getting to you. This is a good way. Have some faith in what the number says up there. And again, if you take this in a 9 and this in a 10, and you crack them out, you hold them this far from your face, you're not going to know the difference for the most part. Centering might be different, but for the most part, you're not going to know the difference. And of course, you know, I'm not talking about extremes, one way or the other. You know, there's going to be variances and stuff. Of course, there's going to be mistakes made. All that out the window. But this is a good venue, way to get a card from A to B. Gives a somewhat honest opinion of what the card's condition is. So I would buy this over a raw, especially if they're the same price. Or a BGS 9 or an SGC 9 or whatever their grade equivalent 9 is. I think they went to single numbers. That would be a good way to pick up a card. But don't go extravagant and you know, oh, I gotta have a 10. Guess what? Maybe your 10's not a 10. And that's okay too, but don't pay out the wazoo for it. Because at the end, you want to have your collection. It's your collection. You want to enjoy it. However you enjoy it, that's fine. But this is how I enjoy it. This infuriates me. Trying to sweep it under the rug. It's not going to go away. It's horrible. I wonder if they're complicit, you know, if they're in on it. Like, oh, third-party grading's in on it. I really want to hope not. But if they're not in on it, are they that bad at their job? What's worse, being in on it or being totally incapable of detection, of conservation, or whatever the fuck you want to call it? It's horrible. Back in the 80s, oh, your card's mint. Yeah. You go to a show, you buy cards. Oh, there were no slabs back then. You go to a deal. Oh, let me see that. Let me see that Mattingly. And you look at that Mattingly. Is it mint? Yeah, it's mint. No one ever said gem mint back then. There was no gem mint. Maybe there was, but no one said gem mint. You said mint. It's card mint. Because it is crazy out there. You never know. Back when I was a kid, in my room, in my dresser, I had a sheet with some baseball cards in it. Only two of them I remember. One of them was a 53 Robinson, Jackie, 53 Topps Robinson. Long gone, I wish I still had it. It was beat to shit, but it was mine. I wish I still had it. And the other was a 71 Topps Seaver, which looked really good. I wasn't really attached to it, so I took it to the show, my local show. It was once a month. And I sold it to a dealer. I think he gave me, I don't remember what he gave me. He gave me money. I was 13, 14. Gave me cash. Whoa, that's good cash, 14. Later that show, he pulls me over. He goes, look, shows me the card. He says, this card's been trimmed. 14, I don't know what that means. Because they cut it to make it look better than it actually is. And he took out another 71 Topps and he compared. He's like, look, they don't match up. It's small. And I said to him, I didn't know that. And I was telling the truth. And he believed me. He's like, no, I don't want the money back. I just, learning experience. So always learning, guys. Always learning. Keep learning. Share your knowledge. You matter. All these things are true. So yeah, I'm really pissed off about that column. They're not going to address it at all. It's all going to try to sweep it under the rug. I'm so pissed. But as always, I really appreciate you guys. And it feels better to talk about it, honestly. It feels better to make a video, to get it out there and put it online. Whatever may be, may be. So be kind and keep your chin up and spread the word. Spread the word. Tell somebody. You never know. Go to the card show. Tell somebody. SLABGATE. Let's not be silenced in all of this.